Welcome back everybody. Of course, this is your teacher Maha, and today we're talking about preferences, okay? We all like something more than another, okay? So I prefer walking on foot. I prefer eating Japanese food, okay? So we all have preferences, okay? But now we are advanced students, right? So we're now going to learn about different ways of talking about preferences, okay? Let's take a look at that, okay? The first is when of course, we already know the verb prefer, okay? Which is close to Portuguese, preferir, right? Okay, so, but now, what might be new for us is the expression would rather, okay? So that's it, which also talks about preferences, but in a slightly different way, okay? So for example, I prefer walking to cycling, okay? So two things, okay? Whenever you are trying to compare your preference, you use the preposition to, okay? So I prefer beer to wine. I prefer meat to vegetables, okay? Remember that. So we always use to, okay? The second thing I want you to remember is that prefer is one of those verbs that we've mentioned in the past have that effect on the next verb. It makes the next verb come in the gerund, okay? So you never say I prefer to walk. Okay, you could hear, but that's not very common. You say, I prefer walking, always. I prefer eating Japanese food, right? That's it. But now, what is new for us is the use of would rather. So, pay attention, the use is slightly different. I would rather walk than cycle, okay? So, we are talking about preference here, but the thing is, when we use prefer, we are talking about steady preferences, okay? So it's a permanent preference. So if you prefer walking, probably you will prefer that for the rest of your life. In every situation in which you have to decide between walking and cycling. So it's a definite preference, okay? But whenever you have a specific situation in which you have to decide whether you like something more than another, you can use would rather, okay? So we use would rather whenever we have a specific preference for a specific moment, okay? For example, I would rather walk than cycle, okay? So in a specific situation, the person was dealing with the possibilities of walking or cycling, and in that moment, he chose walking, right? So in that situation, whenever you're talking about a specific preference, it's more suitable to use would rather, okay? And pay attention, you use the modal verb would rather, and then you use the infinitive without to, okay? I would rather walk, I would rather eat, I would rather speak, etc, 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 okay? Prefer can use the ing form of the infinite with to, and would rather uses the infinite without to, okay? Pretty much the same thing we've just discussed, okay? When we speak about a specific preference, would rather and would prefer have the same meaning and are interchangeable. Okay, that's important. So let's take a look at some of the examples. We went to the theater yesterday. Today, I would rather go to the cinema, okay? So in this example, it's clear that is not a permanent preference, right? So because he went to the theater yesterday, he's now more, he wants to go to the cinema, right? So you can understand that, right? So that's why he used I would rather go to the cinema, okay? The same way, I would prefer to go to the cinema. It would have the same effect, okay? That doesn't make sense to use. Today I prefer going to the cinema. Okay, you can pass on that, but it's not very common, okay? Would rather is also followed by a past tense when we want to involve other people in the action, okay? So for example, I'd rather, that's the contract form, very important. I'd rather you didn't write to Harry and tell him we've sold the car. Okay, so this person is trying to tell a preference that he does not only wants for himself, but he wants for other people too. So in that situation, look, it's interesting. You can use the verb in the simple past. I'd rather you didn't write to Harry, okay? You could say, for example, I'd rather you didn't eat too much, right? I'd rather you didn't talk so much, right? So it's a preference that you have over others. That's interesting, right? That's it. That is very interesting indeed, okay? Let's take a look at some of the expressions, okay? The first one is to take a nap. Ooh, I love taking a nap. I love taking a nap. I don't know about you, but I love taking a nap, okay? I took a nap after lunch, okay? This could be a Spanish guy, right? Because in Spain, they love to take some siestas, right? After lunch. But, okay, so take a nap is something not drastic as going to sleep. You don't have to sleep for 8 hours during a nap, right? When you take a nap, it's just for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, maybe half an hour. That's it. So, do you like to take a nap during the afternoon? Okay, I surely love. Okay, there you go. To grow up. Okay, your children are growing up so fast. Okay, when we were kids, adults always asked us, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we probably answered, oh, when I grow up, I want to be a teacher. Okay, never become a teacher. Or maybe you could. I want to be a doctor. When I grow up, I want to be an astronaut. Okay, that's it. So grow up is like not only physically grow, but it means like being mature, being an adult, right? That's it. What do you want to be when you grow up? Okay, that's it. Let me know. It's a matter of, okay, we have a specific expression which is similar in Portuguese, which is é uma questão de, okay? So for example, if you're trying to learn English, it's just a matter of time if you are an IBL student, right? Because the school is great, the teachers are great, right? The staff is all great, the method is amazing. So for you to learn English is just a matter of time. É só uma questão de tempo, right? But you can also apply that expression in several situations. It's a matter of time until she's here. É uma questão de tempo para que ela esteja aqui, right? Knowing if we buy a car or a house is just a matter of money, right? Right? That's it. So you can use that for any situation. It's a matter of money. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of a decision from the government, etc., etc., etc. What's the matter? Okay, so another use of the word matter. Okay, but in this situation it means like problema. Okay, so ao pé da letra it would be importância, questão, problema. What's the matter? What's the matter with your car? Your car is wrong. What is the problem with your car? That would be the same thing. Okay, what's the matter with you? What's the matter with your hair, Teacher Maha? It looks very long. Why don't you have it cut? There you go. That's it. Pretty much you got it by now, okay? There you go. And that's it. That's all for today. I hope this was useful for you. It is very useful. And I hope to see you next time on our next lesson. Thank you very much.